these are like cycles. What normally I do is like cycles. It begins from the lower, it goes into through all the processes of the mind and clutter, and then we have so many clarity sessions where we are talking about the obstacles and things like that. And there are so many tips and guidelines being given so that you eventually can pass through them, surpass them. And finally, we have these purging and releases programs and things like that, purification. And then we come to a state where um, the mind is ready to be free from all these techniques and methods. So, when the mind is free from all the techniques and methods and philosophies and concepts and beliefs and all that stuff, we are in the right position to do this Gyan Yoga, because this needs a very strong level of awareness. And you cannot get into strong level of awareness when the mind is too active. When is the mind too active? Because the contents of the minds are too much. So if you have too much of contents of the mind, you will be drawn in the mind. The awareness that you have will be projecting on the mind and its contents. So you will not, that awareness will not be used to go above the mind, rise above the mind. So for that reason, okay, if your awareness is too much on the mind, we do mind programs, we do objective webinars and sessions and all that, where objectively you can heal, you can release a lot of things. So that's the method and process that I'm using, so that we eventually purify. It's all about purification, purification of the mind eventually. This purification of the mind is very, very important, failing which the higher practices are only a dream. You cannot get there. The mind is so mischievous and cunning that it simply wants to stay in all the mundane activities, worldly activities. Bahimukhi, it wants to be always projecting outside. And I am encouraging everybody to go inside. So to go inside is everybody's dream. Everybody wants to go there. But then your mind only is the obstacle. So we are basically dealing with these mind problems. And many of us say that no, we don't want to talk about the mind. Let us go straight into that soul awareness. You can try it, it will not be possible. You have to deal with your mind and its contents. Your mind has to be emptied, it has to be purified. Till the time the mind is wandering on useless activities, useless things, which is of no use to your soul, to your growth, it is still caught up in the mundane activities of raga dvesha. It is still caught up with non forgiveness, jealousy, selfishness, hatred, fear, doubts, worries, obsessions, possessions, attachments. You have to deal with these things. You cannot sideline them, or you cannot just carry it with you, thinking that one day it will just go away. You have to make enough efforts while you are in the objective mind to release it. You should be very careful not to use these teachings of higher teachings in your objective world. If you are an objective person, please deal with your mind objectively. Don't talk subjective things. When you are too objective, when you are too obsessed with your Bahimukhi world, when you can't get rid of your contents of your mind, when the I is very strong, when the doership is very strong, at that time you must not talk about higher faculties like silence, non doership, no effort. Be very, 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 very careful about this, because you are going to be exposed with all these higher teachings all the time, bombarded with it, literally. But until that becomes your practice, you must not pretend. There should not be pretension. Be very careful about this. I've told this multiple times, because this is your almost, you can say, like a last obstacle. If you can handle this, it's better. If you cannot handle this, you'll again fall, or you'll remain stuck because you'll have the feeling that I know everything, but when it comes to practice and practicality, you're not able to do it. So I say, if I am objective person, do the objective practices. What are the objective practices? Releasing stuff, becoming conscious of your unconscious, becoming fully aware of how your mind deals with. What are the hidden dirt and impurities in the mind? Work directly first on that. Do not attempt to go directly into awareness of God, Guru Mandala, and things like that. You'll start hallucinating. Your mind will start playing games. For that reason only, Nityananda says, clean the carbon from inside the chimney so that the light can glow outside. You have to be very careful about this. Do not pretend, again, I'm telling, do not pretend with higher teachings when you are still too much in the objective world. Like, do not say, I do not need efforts to do anything. Because Nisardat Maharaj said, because Ramana said there is no effort needed. So I am following Ramana. So I am not going to put any effort. And if I look into my life, if I become aware, I am a person made for effort. Without a single effort, I cannot move my life. My prakriti is that way. So at that time, if I pretend to be effortless, I will have different problems. So be practical. That is the reason I come down many times and do all these programs. I'm not obsessed with those higher programs and sitting talking big things, sharing big things with you. Because collectively, I'm aware what are the impurities. I'm aware of your obstacles. I'm aware of how people are stuck. And that is the reason I go for these programs. If you see, these higher programs have more public. People can sign up. I put any glorious higher programs, people will sign up. But if I talk about forgiveness, release, non attachment, purging out all the old concepts, if I talk about those kind of programs, people are not interested. And I'm saying there is where your problem lies. And you say, I don't need it. So I sit with a few people in many such programs because I am not intending to fill up the rooms and do programs for that. I know where the catch is. So people who pretend will dodge the lower nature of the mind. People who are pretending, or somehow they get carried away that now I know things. You'll find these will become your obstacles. Whereas if you just put a little focus on the little things, I'm telling you, there is nothing to do in the higher practices. Most most of the time, the higher practices are done by doers. So I'm in the doership, I'm in the objective world. I'm caught up in this mind, ego, I. All the time, this I is there. And I pretend I do not want this. I want higher programs. So I come directly into these higher programs and I bring my doership there. Can you see the conflict? I bring my doership there and apply my doership in the non-doer practices and how difficult it is. I'm unable to get in there. This is the dangers of pretension. Come down, be humble, come down to ground level, become fully aware of what I need to release, what am I holding. There is so much of crap in me that I need to let go of. There are the basic fundamentals of spirituality that I need to release and take care of. And I'm telling you, until you handle this, you're going nowhere. And I'm telling you, If you handle this and release this, you'll just be catapulted to higher consciousness. That's a simplistic way or approach in this part. Simply handle that which you do not need. Become aware first of that which is not serving your purpose. Are you aware of it? You're not aware. You're still holding all that garbage. You're still not fully aware. You're not illuminating and looking as to what is it that doesn't serve my purpose anymore. I'm living still an unconscious life, unconsciously gathering and holding on. All the things that I believe is my security. And with this state of mind, I intend to do higher practices. I will terribly fail. Am I gotten rid of my attachments, my obsessions with people, places, things? Am I ready to learn and let go of all these things? Or am I still fooling and playing around? I'm telling you, when we do that, we only fool ourselves. We do not fool anybody else. The lower nature of the mind has to be washed away. And I'm telling you, once you get rid of that, you will find peaceful states because I'm telling you, evolution means peace. Those who evolve will have peace. They cannot be short tempered. They cannot be reactive. They cannot be overreactive. Be very, very cautious and be very aware of these situations because the ego mind will simply pretend it is somewhere and it will not make you go into deep awareness because the mind doesn't want to kill itself. The ego doesn't want to die. So, dear ones, please just check out these things. Look down again and again, self contemplate. You'll see great grace coming to you. You'll see great peace coming to you. Just work with your lower mind. Forget what the people are doing, what the world is doing, what others are doing. Others' triggers. Watch my own triggers. What am I getting triggered about? What is it that needs completion in me? Attend to yourself. Know yourself very perfectly. Because from there you will get the grace. You will get all kind of blessings that you need to rise high. And I'm telling you, peace is what we are looking for. As much peace as we get, you are having a strong foundation. You're building a strong foundation for your spiritual practices. Peace, contentment, a kind of cheerfulness, inner cheerfulness, happiness must come. And that must be built up in such a way that it doesn't get perturbed or disturbed by your external factors. I see so many of us who are happy in the moment when the things are happy, surroundings are happy. But the moment something little goes haywire, I'm unhappy. That itself shows I'm completely dependent on my circumstances. That is why we are so triggered by our circumstances. And all the people who talk to me are always talking about how to change my circumstances, how to change my people. Nobody wants to change themselves. Nobody wants to shut down. They want to shut down people, places, and things. That's the most selfish act to do in this world, in spirituality. It doesn't go that way, demons. It doesn't go that way. World is functioning and everybody is functioning with their own baggage of karmas. They have their own prakriti, they have their own lessons to learn. Nobody is willing to sacrifice their lessons or change so that I feel comfortable. You must understand this. You must stop depending on anything, people, place, or thing to change. Please stop depending. They are not going to change. Circumstances are not going to change. Environment is not going to change. The destiny of this planet is not going to change. And you have no right and you cannot have the power to change this happening. Please understand The nature of this consciousness, everything is running in a certain way. We must accept that certain way. That is called acceptance. That's spirituality. So when you return to yourself, knowing that things outside me cannot be changed, and I need not fret and fume, need not waste my energy even attempting to change even a little bit. What happens is all your energy, awareness, and consciousness is now on the right place. Develop myself. So that is where I must come. And for that, I have to be humble enough. I have to know I have baggages. If I pretend I do not have baggages, it is a big problem to me itself. So make your unconscious conscious. Because Carl Jung said this very beautifully. If you do not make your unconscious conscious, you will continue to be ruled by life and you will call that destiny. Very beautiful and very powerful statement these are. If you do not become conscious of your unconscious, means there are a lot of unconscious things hidden in me, which I'm not aware of yet. And if I don't become conscious of that, that muck will continue running my life. That will attract my circumstances, that will continue playing its role in bringing in new karmas and things like that. And Carl Jung says that is what you call destiny. So, what is destiny? What is stored in your subconscious is your destiny. So, you must become aware of that. Because only when you become aware of what is in your subconscious can you even release it. That is where I'm telling pretending means if I am not willing to go and look deep within myself, automatically I go into pretension. I say all is well. Because conscious mind, you might see nothing, but subconsciously everything is there. It is into the depth of your ocean that you must go. Deep diving. So spirituality is deep diving. So if you do not make that conscious, because making it conscious means you know there is something I got to handle. And then the release. First is you see, you accept, you acknowledge, and then the action is taken what to do with it. Action cannot come until you see it. So our effort must be 100% to make the unconscious conscious. Come what may, that's spirituality. Spirituality is not even abiding in yourself, whether you like it or not, because you can't abide in yourself. Spirituality is not residing in the chidakasha, if you like it or not, because you won't be able to reside in the chidakasha, right? What I am telling you is, for those higher teachings, abiding in the self or staying in the chidakasha, what is preventing me from going there? Unconscious stuff. So become conscious of it. How to become conscious? Awareness. Practice awareness deep enough so that you can only awareness can show you. It's nothing else that can show you. Only awareness can show you. And once you see it, is when you start purging, releasing. In every higher programs, when you come to that level, when you become very deeply involved in manifesting that God or self or whatever, and whenever I try to make people conscious at that moment of the unconscious within you, there is a scare. So there are many unresolved things in life. And if I ask, are you ready to get over it and leave it? Mind says no, and I am seeking self realization. You must become aware of this conflict. You must become aware of this drama of life, of your mind. It wants God realization, but it doesn't want to let go of. You need not go to God. If you let loose, God's embrace will come and pick you. That's how it is. It's like a magnet. The soul, the Atman, Paramatman is like a magnet. The Tirobhava nature, grace, Anugrah Shakti is like a magnet. It is working automatically. What prevents it you from going back to the source is your heaviness, which you have taken a decision. That is your free will. Nobody will interfere with that. Whether you let it go or you keep it with you and keep gravitating down, that's up to you. Either you levitate or you gravitate. To levitate, you must become aware of all those things that are making you gravitate and let go of it. When you let go of it, you automatically levitate. You automatically levitate. That is where the effortlessness comes. You must put effort to see the unconscious and let go of it. The outcome is effortlessness. Effortlessly, you will rise. But people still don't get this message very clear. Because of this huge social media network of higher talks, we are still in the higher talks. And that is why we are still talking. We must become aware of it, dear ones. Work on those things. And that's what I'm telling. Every time we do a lot of humble practices. And I see many of those who are very interested in the higher ones are not there because they feel they don't need it. And I know they are the ones who need it. Because when they sit actually for the higher practices, I can see the obstacles in them very clearly. And I wonder, why didn't they acknowledge these things? So somewhere it is this kind of a mask. You have to become aware of that mask, destroy that mask, work on simple things, and you will get the higher things very easily. I hope I'm making sense. Whatever I'm trying to convey. There is no shortcut. I can see some of us are very stubborn to make it do our way only. Eons will go, nothing is going to happen. Move on, get going from this ridiculous world, from this ridiculous mind. Move on. And you're not ready to let go of your expectations from this world. You still feel that this world is going to give you that happiness and satisfaction. You're still fooling yourself with that strong belief. It's a belief, it's not the truth. It's a belief projected by the mind. All we can do is only tell, say about it. What you do with it is up to you. I leave that up to you. I see some questions. Let me look into it. And this is Arunachala Tattva again, what we are talking, right? How the karmas burn in the journey of awareness, like in Rajyog with Yogagni, karmas burn and make you empty. There is nothing that makes you empty by burning. What burns? Where do your karmas burn? These are all concepts. Somebody has told you, you believe it. Have you ever experienced your karma burning? How does it smell when your karma burns? Like wood or plastic or paper? How does it smell? The problem, this is what I say. The concepts, you're not let going those concepts that you've learned from here and there. Many of these concepts. Please understand the mind is a very strong instrument. If you give it concepts, you can work with those concepts. Whatever you believe will be your experience. If you say, I'm overloaded with karmas, you'll start getting experience of burden. You start believing that I'm burning my karmas, you'll feel that you are victoriously doing some great work. Warrior. You're a warrior, fighter, and you are kind of trying to win a war. And if you believe that your karmas are burnt, you'll start feeling a sense of peace. It is neither in your load of karma, it is neither in your burning of karma, it is neither in your absence of karma. It is in your state of mind that you have created with these three concepts. Because the mind has the power to play with these concepts. That's why I'm asking those who know about karmas, for them, all these complications. What about those who do not know about karmas? Are the people spiritual people? You go to the tribals, you visit the tribals who are very spiritual. I keep talking to Mohiniji and Hariji about the tribals in their area. New Zealand is one of the very nice tribal areas. Those tribals are very connected with God. They're so deep. Their practices are different. They're very simple, down to earth. They live in the earth. Powerful healers, aware beings. Now, there are many such tribals who are very spiritual and very deep. They do not have concepts of karma. In Jnana Marga, if you come to Ramana, Nisarga, Jiddu Krishnamurti, these people, they never talk about karmas. Why? They're not interested in it. Karmas is your mind creations. You come to the mind, you get hooked up in all those things. You rise above it through awareness and stay there. Whatever so-called karmas also is working out in whichever way, it will have no effect on you. I'm telling you very clearly, this is from my personal experience. There is no way you can find out this thing called karma. You can live with concepts. Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma. But I'm telling you, I have not come across one person who has seen or experienced these three concepts. All that you can see is some things are happening in my life, either to my favor or not my favor. So what is in your favor, you call as punya karmas, fruits of your punya karmas. What is not in your favor, you call it as your fruits of your papa karmas. If you go to a certain level of understanding, you'll just see the universe just reflects your energy. There is neither papa, neither punya. There is neither right, neither wrong. Go to study Avadut Gita, you'll understand this. Because the Avadutas are beyond papa and punya. Avadutas are beyond all these concepts. This higher level talks what I'm telling you. You may not understand because you are in the objective world. The mind is very objective. And that is why I say for the people who are objective, you must practice objective practices. You may do any kind of sadhanas that you want with your yantra, tantra, mantras, because the ego will get satisfaction that something is happening. And that satisfaction that you get while doing those practices is real in your experience, and that manifests as that result of purification. Simply the science of mind. That also works. But as I told you, that doesn't work here. We don't talk about those things. Only if you're done with those concepts, you can even understand Arunachala Tattva. And that's okay with the question because you get clarity in this. That is why Rumi says, beyond all your right doing and wrong doing, there's a different realm. I shall meet you there. What is the right doing and wrong doing? Yes, only punya and papa and all that stuff. Rumi says there is another dimension beyond this. I shall meet you there. Matlab, Rumi is an avadhuta. If you want to meet an avadhuta, if you want to experience the state of an avadhuta, you must go to that realm which is beyond the right and wrong, papa, punya, good, bad, raga, desha. So please do not ask me what the yogis do. I'm no yogi, neither want to be any yogi. So don't ask me anything about yogic practices. I'm very poor at it. I'm not a good doer in yogic practices. You must go to yogis. They will guide you properly. And there is no harm in taking yogic practices and having yogic gurus who can guide you to that. Because there is another set of human beings who are in that state of consciousness and who need it. So that's fine. बंदोबस्त है सब परमात्मा का बंदोबस्त है. But we have to identify where we are and accordingly we have to practice. So here, if you have a deeper urge for these higher practices, then whoever has a deeper urge, I will first make them aware of these. That is why we have clarity sessions. I make it clear. I bring clarity to what you feel in the objective world. And from there, it is up to you whether to believe me or take time to work on it. You can take time. Oh, this guy said something and this has gone within, but it's still not relatable to me. I need to explore it. Explore it. No problem. Or this guy, what he's talking is little too much. And I don't think I'm ready for it yet. Then go back to your practices. Whatever you feel, you must do. Right. Or if you feel I have enough experience and I have a good validation that I can go beyond it, even though my mind is not yet ready, then you must trust what you've been told and simply follow it. If you don't trust me, there is no point because I argue with no one. People who ask me questions, I don't give them answers when it comes to the point of debate and arguing. And if they are seeking justification or validations to their own comforts, if it comes from that angle, I'm not interested to even talk about it. Either you trust and you do it, or you explore with what is being told to you. Explore it, mano fir. Jano or firman. Explore it, experience it, and then do it. But if you are getting glimpses of experiences and you know what is being said connects me to higher, then simply do it. So I'm trying to simply simplify these things because as we go deeper into this, there is no complication. And I don't like to complicate you with giving too much answers on, you know, validations. You know everything, but you pretend you do not know anything. That's the cunning nature of this mind. The conscious mind pretends, sorry. The unconscious mind knows it all. Effort, little effort is needed there. But you need somebody to catch your hand and hold your finger and take you in a special vehicle to Vaikunta. That will not happen here. We are explorers. We have to work. This is your journey. You have created it. You are in the mess. You are 100% responsible for what you are in. If you don't believe, Go and practice the lower practices. You don't have to believe me. Because if you do not believe me, understand this. I'm not going to come and convince you. I am convinced on my journey. So I'm sharing my journey openly. If you feel there is some validity, explore with me. Don't just believe me, explore with me simultaneously. And when you explore, you ask questions, I will know and I will answer it perfectly because I know you are an explorer. You're confused from that. Like this question. Somebody who asked this question is coming from an explorer. It's not coming from a believer. They're doing their exploration. That is why I spend time giving an answer to it. But if it is not coming from that zone, I know there is still time. So just to simplify your question, how does the karma burn in the journey of awareness? The awareness doesn't neither burns, neither destroys, neither swallows, neither experiences. It's beyond all these things. It simply is disinterested. You can say that's how it burns. Ramana says, let your karmas, I've talked this dozens of times. Maybe you're not attentive. Ramana says, leave your karmas alone, vasanas alone, wherever it is. You abide in the self. What does that mean? You be aware. That awareness itself of the self will keep you away from that mind. When you keep yourself away from the mind, all your karmic concepts has no value. Are you getting this? Your karmas and all your concepts and belief that has been stuffed into your head by all your paths, that doesn't work when you're in samadhi. It doesn't work when you're in deep awareness. Have you noticed this? Where does all those things go then? So what comes and what goes is not real. If those things are real, it has to be there all the time. Why it is not there? Because it's not real. It is a projection of your mind. Wherever your mind projects, it illuminates that. You believe, you say God is there, He's there. You say He's not there, He's not there. Have you not seen there are atheists who are self-realized? Jiddu Krishnamurti is an atheist. Buddha is an atheist. Mahavir is an atheist who never believed in God, never talked about it, not an ounce of it, but they're self-realized. Why can't we understand even atheists can reach there? And there are many theists like Tukaram, Mirabai, and so many, plenty of them who believed in God and they realized. You believe in God, you can realize. You don't believe in God, you can realize. What is the ultimatum here? What is that tattva that realizes? Because you can see that which realizes is not dependent on God or no God. That's the power of your mind. You believe in it, you get it. You don't believe in it, whatever you believe, that is your truth. So it's the same. You believe in karma, there is karma. You don't believe in it, it's not there. And believe by experience. How do you know God is there? Oh, I have different forms Rama, Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman, or Shiva, Shakti, Jesus, Buddha, Mahavir, Rab, Allah, whatever those concepts are. There is, and I'm projecting all the time on that deity, in that tattva, that will become real. I focus on a certain deity, that deity manifests in my life in so many different ways. Power of your mind. And those who say this is not there, there is only consciousness, there is nothing else, that happens. All the deities vanish for them, like Buddha and Mahavir. Please understand these things. That is what we are telling. The more concepts are fed into your head, very difficult. Here we are talking about conceptlessness. No concepts. Then only you can rise to that. So whatever you become aware of, that is there. And Ramana says, leave that which appears and disappears, your mind, contents of your mind, your karma, vasanas, this, that, and all. It's not permanent. It comes and goes, comes and goes. Don't be interested in it. Be interested in that which is always staying, your soul. This is Arunachala Tattva, what we are talking. If we have impure intentions, does it mean mind far away from stillness? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because impure, see, I would go a little more deeper. It is not just about impure or pure. Intentions. Intention is thought. Intention is an emotion. It is a deep feeling. So I don't even say impure intention keeps you away from stillness. I'm telling you, even pure intentions will keep you away from stillness. Because even pure intention is a feeling, it's a bhava. Till there is bhava, there is no stillness. That is why shunya bhava, nirbhava, that Shiva says. No bhava. Does Shiva says shuddha bhava in Devi Kalotra? From Patal Loka to Shakti have only shuddha bhava. Why doesn't he say that? He says nirbhava, shunya bhava. Even your good intention will not, because intention is intention, it's a vibration. Until there is vibration, how can there be stillness? No intention. It's not even about good and bad. It's like asking, if I have bad habits, will I not reach God? I will tell, even if you have good habits, you will not reach God. What is good and bad habit? Bad habit is what you called rajas and tamas karma, action. And what you call as good habit is nothing but sattvic karma. So, do I do good karma or bad karma to reach stillness? Any karma will not reach you to stillness, even if it is the greatest karma you do. Akarma, karma should stop. Doing should stop. Then only there is a further journey of what we are talking about. That's what I said. Even Chidakasha has certain amount of doership. It's Raj Yoga, yogic. It still contains on moving your energies here and there, putting a lot of efforts. But that's needed. That's not for everybody. It's needed for many. And it's fine because in Chidakash Gita retreat, we did simply that. I taught you all that I knew, all my personal practices in that retreat, including the Sushumna breathing and the deep practices, subtle practice. They are all in the doership. You got to do it. But if you do it, yes, you can read to non doership. That's fine. But powerful practices. But I'm telling you, it is still karma. When we talk about stillness, there is no karma. There is absolutely nothing. Not even a thought. Forget karma, not even a thought. Whether it is a good thought or bad thought. So, not just impure intention, even pure intention will keep you away from stillness. This is a different language you hear here. Till now, we are talking only pure intention, have pure intention, pure intention. But that is for purification. Please understand. When we say have pure intention, Shuddha Bhavana, for what? So that I purify. Your question is different. You did not ask, will it keep me away from purification, impure thoughts? It does impure intention keep me away from purity? I would say yes. Impure intention will keep you certainly away from purity. But if you ask me, does impure intention keep me away from stillness? I say even your pure intention will keep you away from stillness. This is the depth, you must understand this. What exactly is the difference between space and light? Because we did last webinar, we used space inside and outside, whereas before that we use light body. Light body concepts. I think I'm going too deep. Yes, I am. I'm going too deep. I'm talking retreat topics here. I shouldn't be talking that. Okay, let me deal with your light body. Light body is nothing but your subtle bodies. You purify, you illuminate, then all these subtle bodies become one aura, all merged into one. How did they merge? Because there is an experience of one light illumination. That becomes a light body. That then penetrates even into the physical body. And then the physical body also starts taking the tattva of light. It becomes light. What is the physical body? Matter. What is matter's higher version? Energy. What is the energy's higher version? Vibration. What is the higher version of vibration? Light. It becomes light. So when you raise the frequency of this body, it becomes light. So more and more practices on the body also starts converting the body into light. But that's not an easy task. I gave you all the hints. I gave you the practices but the practice is very deep. You must understand not many have light bodies, human incarnations. Few of those four were Jesus Christ, Malaleshwari, Ram Lingaswamy, and Mahatar Baba, whom we took for that webinar. They are our live examples. But how many of them are there in that manner? So, light body means your body, whatever you call as body, which is the physical and the subtle bodies, Stula and Sukshma, both these bodies, all the Pancha bodies, five bodies, Pancha koshas, they become light. How do they become light? The grossness is reduced. The frequency of all these bodies is raised to such an extent from matter to energy, energy to frequencies, and from there to light. It simply becomes light. That is called the light body. So that's completely a different thing. And what we are talking here about space that you asked. Space is the phenomenon, is that element in which all these things happen. Now there is life happening in your body. If I tell you about you, how do you know about yourself? You have a life, and that life is lived with your body. Everything is happening in your body: digestion, respiration, circulation, excretion. Everything is happening in your body. And when you become aware of it fully, you are having an experience called life. That is what you call as life. What is life? Life is eating, sleeping, thinking, experiencing, isn't it? What else is life? So that experience of life with your body is happening because of your body. You have this body, you have subtle bodies. So this whole drama of life is happening in your Brahmanda. This Pindanda is your Brahmanda. This is your universe. You have your own universe. You have your own space. So, give me my own space. You have your own space. So you're playing around this whole game in your own space. Similarly, like you, there are multiple bodies, multiple species, multiple objects. Each individual, each animal, each plant, each reptile, they're all having their own experiences in their own space. All are having their own space experiences. When you collectively bring this all together, there is one experience of the whole drama. Like you are experiencing your body. Heart is different, lungs are different, kidneys are different, liver is different, intestines are different, eyes are different, ears are different. Everything is no two organs are same. Different departments, different experience. When you are hearing, it's a different experience. When you're smelling, it's a different experience. When you're seeing, different. When you're tasting, different. When you're touching, different. Different experience, but all put together as one experience is called life. So when you combine this whole body experience, which is what you're practicing, one experience, the omnipresent experience of your Brahmanda, you become enlightened. Why? I am experiencing everything simultaneously, not just my heart, not just my listening, not just my seeing, everything activated. So when everything is activated, you're enlightened. That's called self realization. You are fully illuminated and experiencing life in your space. Whatever is happening, everything you're aware, though they're different. Now, you and many like you are all having such similar Pindanda experiences, microcosmic experiences. All put together is like the organ of God. You are a certain organ, other species are different organs. Every different organs, but that God Tattva, Shiva Tattva is experiencing everything in the Brahmanda as one omnipresence, one experience, illumined. Like you are illumined in your little Brahmanda, that God is illumined, which contains many of you units, but is aware of all of you, like you are aware of all your organs. So where this happens, it's all happens in that space, that space. You can see this whole universe is suspended in this space. Even you are suspended in space. We might look, we are sticking to each other. We might look, this earth is stationary. Everything is suspended. You might say, I'm not suspended, I'm stuck to the earth, my earth. But where is your earth? Your earth is floating. Where? In space. Everything is floating in space. So space is the home of all objects. In space only, everything happens, and this space is infinite, no beginning, no end. All things are floating in this space. So, in the macrocosm which is there, everything is floating in space. Nothing has its own adhara, nothing is firm, nothing has support. That's the right word. That is why Nirlam Yoga. Nirlam means supportless. I am clinging to my house is clinging to this earth, but the earth is clinging to nothing. Earth is floating. So what I cling to, I feel this is real. Reality is the earth floating. Where is it all floating? In the space. That is known as Akash. When you become aware of everything that floats within you and outside you, when you become aware that the space within your body and everything is floating inside, you have a space in your head. All your thoughts are just floating inside it. They have no adhara. That space is known as chidakasha. So life and its experience is happening in the chidakasha. The whole spirituality is moving from this object that feels it is stuck somewhere, or it is having some adhara here, or it is salam here, to the realization that everything is nirlamba and supportless is the spiritual practice that leads you to realizing chidakasha or Self realization. What is self? Self is this chidakasha. It is that eternal space in which everything is just floating. Space is aware of the objects in it. Chidakasha is aware of all the objects in it. It is not the object, it is the space in which all these objects float. That is whom you call a Shiva, who is aware of everything as a witnesser. Space is a witness. Space is not involved in any action or inaction. It doesn't do anything. It has no opinion. It is simply a witnesser. Watch this whole space. Isn't it witnessing? Everything that happens, there is a witnesser in this whole universe. Only one witnesser in the whole universe of all the planets moving. Everything is moving and so many things happening. There is one thing that is simply aware of it: space. It doesn't do everything because it's everything is happening in it. It is contained. In the space, everything is contained. If you understand this, you'll understand that I am that space. Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda, Chidambaram, Chidananda, Chit plus Ambar. Ambar is sky, Chit is your consciousness, the sky of consciousness. Chidambaram, Chidakasha, Ambar, sky, Akasha, sky. Same meaning. You call it Chidambar or you call it Chidakasha. It's the same thing. So when the Akasha Tattva is blissfully simply experiencing things, it is called Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So that space is different. And these so-called light bodies, this body, that body, subtle body, gross body, these are all the objects floating in that space. I hope you get the answer clear. Because you asked the meaning of light body and the space. The bodies are the objects floating in that space. Right now, our awareness is fully on the objects. I objectify myself as a body, even a subtle body, even a light body. When you say I'm not this physical body, but I'm a light body, that is still ignorance. I am that which is aware of these so called bodies. A man went to Himalayas and he asked a great Mahatma there. He told that Mahatma, I am very troubled in my life. I have a lot of miseries. And that yogi asked, do you know about your miseries? He said, of course I know. That is why I'm speaking. I'm miserable. I'm suffering. Do you know about your suffering? He's simply asking, are you aware of your suffering? He said, of course I'm aware of my suffering. That is why I know. And the Mahatma simply says, if you are aware of your suffering, you are not the sufferer. You are that awareness which is aware of that suffering. You are the knower. I know I am suffering. The knower is you. The sufferer is your imagination or your stuckness with being in the body consciousness, which makes you feel that I am suffering. So this guy is going and saying, I am suffering. And that Mahatma is asking, pointing out who's exactly suffering. It's very deep. These are concepts of Drik Drishya Viveka. Drik is the seer, Drishya is the one that is seen, And Viveka is that awareness of the seer, the one who sees. See, in Dhyana Yoga, what we are trying to do in Arunachala is all move towards the one who's seeing things. Objective means you are on the other end and taking it from there. You are gone more into the scene, what you see. I see my God. That's what Ramana is telling. I posted day before yesterday or yesterday, 2, 3 days back, probably, where he's telling, I cannot show you God because God is not an object to be shown. But the one who's seeing it itself is God. Seer, Drig, not the Drishya, but the Drig, Drig Drishya, Viveka. The Viveka, the awareness is this, that they can. The awareness knows that it is the seer and not the seen. So this person who goes and says, I'm the sufferer, I'm suffering, he is on the Drishya. And the Mahatma is telling you, you are the Drig, you are the seer, you are not that which is seen. I have lot of karmas, Drishya, that which is on the scene. Who is the one who knows I have a lot of karmas? Seer. That is where we are moving. Level 2 Arunachala retreat in November, moving towards this. But I was meanwhile dealing with the lower aspects, the little lesser aspects of the mind. And I noticed we are not ready. A lot of work to do on this end. So please be humble enough and do the practice. There are enough courses, enough things that you have done, enough clarity sessions. Do these things so that the heaviness reduces. Once it reduces, catch the weightlessness. Catch these tattvas, then it will be easier. Without that, if you attempt, it will simply be a long game. It will simply be postponing. And then you'll have question, how long? How long will I be like this? How many times will I be doing these things? It's simply because of this lack of clarity in these things. This is today turned out to be a little more deep contemplative session. But that's the Arunachala. This is just to clear your doubts about what is Arunachala Tattva that we are talking about. Arunachala Tattva is not a concept, my Mera Shiva, my God. It's not your concepts. Arunachala Tattva, if you understand now, you'll understand. Okay, so this is it. Yes, so there is a lot of work. That is practical spirituality. So I go back and do that work. I clear off. What else work that I'm talking about? Release people, places, things, events, circumstances completely. Be done with your past. It should burn. If you look back into your past, there is nothing you can catch. No grip on your past. Why do you think sannyasis take this path? Sannyasis are at greater advantage because they've burned their past. They shave their head, change their name, move out from all that can remind them of their past. And eventually they get free of their past. That is a sannyasi. Was burned to ashes. All identification. But here, we are not ready to even let go of our petty titles, your gotras, your caste, your gender, your religion, your identities, your personalities. Not ready to let go of it. Your surnames. How much pride we take in these surnames. You have to put efforts to get rid of it. I can vouch for it because I put a lot of effort to get out of all this surname business. I took off my own birth name. There is nothing called birth name. Birth name is what? The body's name. It's scrap. If you look at it, it's just scrap. If you become aware of it, it's just scrap. This is for people who identify themselves with their body so much. Gotras and your connection with your lineages and generations are one of the strongest identities of keeping the ego alive. You simply carry that name. So proud of my father's name, surname. When I take my name, I have to take my father's name, and then I have to take my surname, and then I have to take my lineage name, my gotras. We're far from this, what we are trying to discuss here. Still stuck up with that. Big strings, not strings, these are ropes and chains that you have attached yourself with. You do not know one string can create multiple strings from there. Just these one identities. You carry your surnames, that's not a big deal, but don't identify with it. Because you can't live in this world without identity. You cannot simply say, I'll scratch away my name, because in this, to live in this world, you need your passport and Aadhaar card and driving license and things like that. So, okay, fine. Let it be only for your survival here. Why do you have to identify with it? Why so much pride in that? That is what I mean by release. Release just doesn't mean I have a bad thought in my mind and I have to release this. I've done a sin and I have to release this. We know only till this level. I've hurt someone, I have to release it. World, the life victimized me, I have to release it. I am a victim of trauma, I have to release it. Much beyond all these things. These are all just the basics, what we are talking. Trauma and forgiveness and things like that. I'm not talking about that. See, that also we are not clear. We still have vested interest. We still have injuries. We still have people we have not forgiven, places, things we are attached to, obsessed with. Me, mine, my people, can't live without them. This is what I'm telling. Work on those levels first. You have to become utterly empty. But your fear is not allowing you to become empty. That fear is because you are body based. You don't want to leave your mind and shift into awareness. You have not tried living more in awareness. If you, all those who have tried and practice living in awareness, I challenge you, these will automatically start leaving you. You'll see you'll have no affinity toward these things. One girl who had met me in Mumbai before this Ganesh Puri retreat, he was just sharing what this practice has done to her. She's got a well established business and she's very busy in it. She doesn't even have time for these things. She has her own family. She has a son, and she's very engaged with her family things. She's bound by it. She has a lot of responsibility. But she says, as I've practiced these things, I have seen a considerable change in my affinity, the way I look at things. I asked her to give some examples. She said, attachment. I see this so deeply that was engraved in me. Like my son, he was studying somewhere. He was about to go to some higher studies, South India. And I had to send him many years back. That time I remember I ran with him to many temples, took a lot of blessings, prayed for him. I sent him healing. I sent him prayers, blessings. I did a lot of worship, rituals for his sake. I was worried. What will he eat? What will he do in that place, in that college, and things like that. But now, after many years, he did his college, came back from South India, and now I had to send him abroad. He's going abroad for his education come profession. And I noticed one thing in the airport also, when I was saying bye, not a tear, not a sense of isolation. There is love, there is concern, but it's not affecting me. And that is the time I became aware what a change this has come, because this is not me. I had not noticed this. And today is abroad. I don't even think what's happening there. I don't worry. But I'm doing it. And she told me I'm working hard because I have to take care of his loans and education and things like that. That's the reason I cannot attend your retreat. There are a lot of responsibilities that I need. I said, you got it. You got it. Do those practices. Continue it. And she said the way I reacted to my in-laws, to my husband, to all the things that pestered me so much once upon a time. Today I'm okay with everything. I don't refuse anything. If they want it certain way, so will it. But my inner peace, I'm more focused on that. I said, wow, that is what I'm trying to teach here. Jeevan Mukta. Excellent example. And she says, with this, I have confidence. In time, I will lose all the other little fears I have, including my body, attachment, and things like that, or my business and things like that. I said, certainly you will. You're heading in the right direction. Continue. One lady from Delhi who had come for one of the Arunachala retreat, she said, this has changed my life so much. I was obsessed with people, places, things. My bungalow, my children, my husband, my family, my status, my name, my fame, my social circle. And all the time worried about maintaining it. So heavy this is. If you observe, it is not in acquiring these things. It is in sustaining, maintaining it. We spend a whole lifetime gathering these things, running behind these things, working hard for it, and we attain it. And then we simply spend the rest of our life maintaining. You must become aware of this. Those who become aware of this are blessed. Blessed by the grace of Lord. They are seeing something that is very true, real. Because only when you see what is real, can you let go of what is unreal. Grace. So she said, after this retreat, I went there and my family all were waiting. It was a birthday or something like that. They were waiting desperately for me. I had no desperateness to go back. I had no desperation to stay here. Tirunamalai. When I came here, I enjoyed and came here. When I stayed here throughout the retreat, I enjoyed it. When I went back, I was okay going back. I said, wow. And when I went at the airport, my home people brought me a surprise. That was a new car, that which I always wanted. And she's telling me, I was so confused because I saw that car. I was okay, happy about it, but not excited anymore. People are asking, "What's wrong with you? Are you not happy?" She said, "Yes, this is a great thing. Thank you so much. You all have done all these beautiful things." But she has no interest to even explore that car. I said, "Wow, you are on the right track. You are not unhappy with having a car, neither you are happy or overwhelmed with having a car. है तो ठीक, नहीं है तो भी ठीक." I said, "Perfect. This is what I'm trying to teach." Another lady from Singapore, she came and she told Bhaiya, "It's very costly for me to have cars here. Buy a car here. It's very, very costly. It's like a gem. You buy a gem or diamond here." And I have always wanted a car, obsessed with that dream of car. And you know what? Doing these practices, it manifested when I didn't want it. And now it is there, but nothing, no feeling towards it. I said, "You're on the right path." This is what I mean by release. This is what I mean by letting go. So the question now that might come to your mind is, how did they achieve it? These people are very deep practitioners. They've taken it seriously. It is in their blood. It is in their moment to moment. And they contemplate very deeply on these tattvas. These are people who explored themselves, not the path, not the pathfinders, not the gurus, not the external. They explored themselves. And they found that those things which are unconscious, they simply worked on their own flaws. And as it released, all the things that are connected to it released. One question that I asked in recent programs: shall we do a process right now? I've asked this in the land of Arunachala, Ganeshpuri, Kanyanad also. These are very powerful places. Things manifest here. What you truly ask in the right way will be given to you here. Ganeshpuri also is very powerful. It has given me everything. Though it looks like a very small place with little comforts. I said in all these three places or four places, wherever these potential places are there, and you sit with the right frame of mind. And if I say, let's do a process right now, which says anything that is not for my highest good in my life, may it be moved away from me. Knowing that this place can give it, has the capacity to give it. Can we do it? A very large percent all the time has been no. Very large percent. You can say even 95+% of the collective. You must, I'm not saying you have to let go. You must become aware that I'm not ready. Don't pretend. When you have opportunity, see that there is work to do and simply get working on it. Don't put all these things under the carpet and do all these higher practices. Look at that which you have not dealt with yet and work on those things. That's why I say you might have very deep desires to liberate, but it's foolish if you are not ready to look at that which is not allowing you to liberate. I hope the message is clear in this. I think I'll put it on YouTube also. So the people who are joining Shifting into Awareness here know what we are doing, know what we are talking about. So I do not want yogis to come and sit here I do not want again ritual practitioners to sit here. They are all welcome, but nothing much can be expected. This platform cannot give those things. As I told you, there are three levels. Yesterday's satsang was on that. Shiva Sutras talks about also these three levels. That is known as Stula, Sukshma, and Para. Shiva Sutra's words. Stula, Sukshma, Para. Stula is gross. Sukshma is subtle. Para is beyond. Beyond even subtleness. Self-realization is third. What we are talking here is one and two. What we are yet to practice and ground and get deep into is level two. We are not yet ready for level three. And it's okay. There's no hurry. But acknowledge it. These are opportunities. I said, good. So whenever we go to that kind of level, I don't go and we do it. Oh, let's do higher. No, I come to that level where the collective is and we do it and we benefit. We benefit. It's not a waste of time. It's a genuine opportunity where we know what the practice has to be done. So, dear ones, that is how this next 2 months also is going to be. It will keep on highlighting all those things that you need to be aware of if you're ready. If you're ready. So, if you're deeply ready, this next 2 months, you have all the opportunities again to relook and scan through all the things and go to that level of what we are talking about, para. You're aware of the gross, and then you become aware of the subtle, and then you become ready for that which is beyond the subtle. In the Panchamahabhuta, if you see, first level is Prithvi Tattva, Agni Tattva, Vayu Tattva, Jala Tattva, these physicalities. Prithvi is very gross. Then you move subtle, prana, koshas, you can say those, prana or mana, vijnana, anandmaya. Okay. Anandmaya kosha. All these are subtle and bodies, physical. Panchamahabhutas you take, there also Prithvi Tattva is gross and it starts getting subtler. So those are the subtle bodies, like the water, the air, the fire. And the subtlest is Akash. But that is still under subtle only, Akash. So you can imagine how sukshma that Akasha is. You can imagine how sukshma the Anandamaya Kosha is. That is all level two. There is a zone beyond that Anandamaya. There is a zone beyond Akash Tattva. That is Chidakasha. That is Para. There is a zone beyond Anandamaya Kosha. That is the self. That is Para. So you must understand, have a clear-cut understanding of this journey. So when we are moving towards para, if you ask questions or if you are still stuck in details of the stula, you must question and you must become awake and aware of where am I on this journey? Do I want to be here? If you are, that's fine. But this platform, Shifting into Awareness, doesn't talk anything about stula. It doesn't talk anything about apara. It doesn't talk anything about the outside practices, which is known as the Anvopaya methods. Anvopaya methods are for the people who are stula, gross, consciousness, body, fully body. We don't talk anything about that. Shifting into awareness begins at second level, which is Shaktopaya, or which is Para mix, or which is Sukshma, whatever you call it. Eventually, you will be led to Para, the final one, the self or the Chidakasha. I hope this is clear. These are the three levels that we are talking about. There is nothing beyond it. So don't think that we are going to level 10 and level 20 and all that. That's all crap. These are only not even levels, these are three stages or three phases of our consciousness. So you must be fully aware of these three tattvas and fully aware of where are you in these three. And if you find yourself in Parapara, the center one, work thoroughly there. Don't jump into the third. You'll have difficulties. You be interested in the third. You contemplate on the third. You reflect on the third. You practice also on the third. That's fine. But don't claim to be there. Don't believe yourself to be there. This is the only thing that I'm stressing on in today's satsang. I had thought of something else and something else flowed here. Whatever is meant to be, that's fine. May I please know the purpose of 112 meditation technique? Is it for us to find out which is meant for us? The whole thing that I'm saying is whatever we have here, first do that. The mind is constantly running. There are enough practices here, enough for you to get there. If you just go into the courses and if you do it very sincerely, and if you're just attending this clarity, enough. There's nothing else that you need to seek. That is the mind that's playing game. It feels it is in the destination. There is no destination. It's a destination phobia. You sit here and you feel it's not here. It should be somewhere else. Perhaps it's in Tirunamalai. And then you want to run there. Or it's in Kailasha. Or in Rishikesh. Or in Ganeshpuri, Kanjangad, wherever you call it. It's not there, but we are simply using those places because that is conducive and it makes us more efficient there. But it's not in there. You must understand it's not in there. You have to come to a point where you are happy with where you are and practicing it. If you're able to do without these external places, excellent. If not, you can take your the help to go outside, but that's not your destination. There'll be a certain time when you realize even your holiest hills are nothing but mud and stones. I mean it. That is when the ripening has happened. That's known as objectless devotion. Devotion towards a hill, towards an object, towards a god, towards a philosophy is good enough to activate that devotion. But when the devotion is full fledged, activated, like a full blown chidakasha, it doesn't depend on anything. No hill, no concept, no god, nothing. Nirlamba state. Level 3. Too early to talk about. But I'm just giving you introductions to it. Okay. So that you know what we are talking here about. There is something beyond all your fascinating spiritual tools also. So what you have right now, release that. Do not think it is in some more gurus, some more books, some more techniques. What is in the plate? Please let us digest that first. Without digesting it, it is only a phobia. It's only a syndrome, not phobia, syndrome. A false syndrome that it's somewhere else. Probably it's in somewhere. I can see so many of us. We are so restless. We are busy reading multiple quotes, multiple books, multiple practices, multiple gurus, multiple places. And I ask people, what is it that you're still searching? Hasn't your search ended? That search must end in that one practice. And that is you to choose, whichever practice that is, where you know firmly this is it. And once those are founded, they are simply in that. But if you have one practice and if you're still interested in multiple things, that's the mind giving you a false run. It's the chanchalamana. It is the vrittis that keep you still running. You have to become aware of this. Otherwise, you will never get over with this. There is no end to running. There is no end to seeking. When Nityananda was there, people, somebody had come there and said, "We are going in a hurry to go to Shirdi." And he said, "I am there only." Now, I'm not talking about the monopoly of Nityananda everywhere. Whoever is your tattva is your favorite. That will be everywhere. You go to Ramana, Ramana will see talking the same thing. I'm everywhere. You will find me there, wherever you are. So, what is it that we must understand? It is in the here and now. There's no more seeking to be done, provided my mind agrees with it and settles with it. Otherwise, it's okay to go and explore further. But as I told, then you are not under the bracket of seeker. You are under the bracket of wanderer, still wandering. You're searching something. You've not settled down. You have not found yet, though you may pretend that you have found. That is pretension. But actions, behaviors show that you're still searching something. Become aware of this flaw. You'll not be able to catch this. That's why I'm pointing these things. The mind, it's very sukshma, subconscious. The teachings of Nityananda. Oh, this is my wallet, but we have got a Nityananda's photo here. So in that, there is this teaching. It says the heart is the hub of all sacred places. Go there and roam. Bhagavan Nityananda. The heart is the hub of all sacred places. What is the heart? Same what Ramana is teaching, the heart space, the Kendra Bindu. Go and roam there, he says. Nityananda's words. So there was one of our friend who came early on 9th, 3 days earlier. And I asked him why. They all came from abroad, from out of India. And he said, I have plans to go to Shirdi. For some strange reason, in the last moment, he couldn't. He stayed in Ganeshpuri only. Some of them also came. They had plans to go different places after the retreat. Strangely, their flight got cancelled. They couldn't go. It's not that Nityananda is telling, without me, there is nothing. Only me, worship me. Absolutely not. It is giving us the message because all these seekers are deep seekers. It is telling it is where you are. It is not in multiple places because your search is not ending. Settle down. What you have digested, whatever that means, be it Ramana Tattva, be it your guru's paths, whichever individual guru you have, or it is Nityananda Tattva, settle down. If you are not getting it there, then explore. But after exploration, settle down. Or would you want to explore your whole life? That's up to you. You must settle down. And that is why I say, when people tell me, go here, go there, come here, come there, read this book, read that book, read this quote, read that quote, meet this person, meet that person. I'm not interested because I found what I want. I'm very happy with it. So you might be very impressed with many different people that you meet. I understand your happiness, but that's not for me. I'm happy with what I found and I'm fully into those things. Even if I go to places, now it is only to help others, people, places. Even if I take you to a mystic, it is not because I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know their experience. It is because you might need it somewhere. And this time when I took to people, the message was stick to your central point of your central practice. So don't ask me for methods and more methods. Because what I'm talking here, even 20% you have not digested. Probably 15-20% you have not digested. What are you looking outside these practices? calm down, settle down. Why I'm not interested in previous practice, which I've learned. I'm practicing awareness, but not constantly. Why is this happening? Today I got some insight. Yes, good, you got that insight. Because without awareness, you cannot go into the third state. Para is purely 100% awareness. You cannot take your mind there. You cannot take your body there. You cannot take your practices there. Any of the external practices, any of the internal practices also you can't take there. Your mind level practices. Awareness means be. You're just there. But for coming into that being zone, you'll have to go through all this doing. First two levels. So I think I'll name that even those retreats as 2 and 3, not 1 and 2, because it can be confusing. I thought about it later. One, we are already done with so many places. We might get some brief here, introductions and all that. That's enough. 2 is what we are maximum doing. So one is what you can say the gross practices where we are going so deep, objective. The ego is hurt, traumatized, victimized. Yes, I release, I purge, and all those things. That's at that level. 2 gross. Subtle levels are so many practices are there. Where you're becoming aware of your body, your organs, your koshas, things like that. That is para, both. Because the subjective and objective both are there. In the first level, only objective is there. Even that self or the seer is not there. I, the ego, I'm hurt. Objective level, completely. So I is there. I am hurt, I forgive. I release. Okay, good. The second level, you have done all these things. You're now subjective. You're moving towards the objective is moving towards the ego is moving towards subjective. So the ego, the doer, does the practice that is inward. Only all this about kosha, self-reflection, my own unconsciousness, my flaws, me. It's all about self. Know thyself. Second level. And when I know myself, what is real and unreal. My Viveka tells me this is Sat, this is Asat, this is real. I hold on to the real. What is unreal, I'm not interested. I keep dropping it. Concepts, beliefs, conditions, knowledge, everything I only go on that which is real, the awareness. That is the para level practices, the second level practices. And the third level is just being. Third level, there is absolutely nothing to know. It's only a subjective experience. So that is what I call as third level. So even these retreats, I am talking about 2 and 3 level. But for that, we have 2 months to deal with level 1 issues, level 2 issues, and then simply go and be ready. So probably those practices of November is something that we are on the higher end of that second level where we are trying to touch that third and experiencing the glimpses of that. That's how what comes to my mind for now. But for that, be aware of these things. And of course, selection level, if it is one level, we are not taking in those retreats. It is not by what you say or we come to know. It's known. So there are other practices that you need to do. You have to work on those things. Grossness. The victim has to die. The I, the problems. The world is a problem. Things. This is all level 1 talks. That has to go. So if I feel I am in this level and I have more work, let us not get into the retreat. Let me work on my things. There are enough webinars, enough courses and things like that. Work on that. And if I say, yes, in this 2 months, I've improvised, I'm understanding, let's see then I become ready. So I'm telling there is enough time for you to reflect. And all these clarity sessions, I'll be guiding on these things only. So you have enough free sessions also at the same time. And webinars will be based on these things only again. So when you say, I'm not interested in the previous practice which I learned, I'm practicing only awareness. It is not that I'm telling that you don't, if you need it, do it. This is a pathless path. I will never claim that here only you get it. Wherever you get it, wherever is a state of consciousness, whatever you need to do in the moment, do that. But identify. I'm giving enough hints. And it's okay if you regress back also and get into some other things and do it also. That's fine. Slowly you'll boomerang from there, or you'll rise up from there. But do it. If it is needed, don't pretend, no, I don't need it. Let me do this. Then you'll be troubled because you're not doing the basic stuff. Like somebody asked yesterday, what do I do? These things. I said, do Grivalam, do holy dips, do yogasana, do healings, do chakra sadhanas. Good. They're all good. No, 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 I don't need them. You're pretending. You need that only. You have to purify that. So use it, not forever. Till whenever you feel it's needed. Use till then. After that, eventually it will still keep dropping on its own. That is how you evolve. So with this, quickly you become aware of your body. Just 2 minutes before you leave, you become aware of who's the one who was listening on this one. Was it me?